New videos every day.
Is margarine really healthier than butter? Is a healthy choice microwave meal really a healthy choice? Do foods labeled diet really help you lose weight? Can a food that says low fat or no fat still cause you to gain weight? Are foods labeled healthy or diet actually just junk foods in disguise? Are there any foods out there that won't make us fat and unhealthy? Are the diet fads and diet experts out there really trying to help us lose weight, or are they just trying to take our money? Are there foods out there that people often consider to be healthy, but that are really no more healthy than the junk foods and fast foods we all know to avoid? Have you ever wished someone would just tell you what not to eat? Well, in this video, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna count down the top items that you should definitely avoid and give you some simple alternatives you can substitute. The first foods you definitely don't want to be eating are margarine and canola oil. The thing you need to know about margarine is that these are partially hydrogenated oils, which is the same thing as trans fats. These foods are actually illegal in Europe. They have been banned, but they are still in all kinds of the foods that we're eating. So you want to avoid margarine and just go for the actual butter. It even tastes better than the margarine you're replacing. And the thing about canola oil is that it comes from often genetically modified crops. It's highly processed. If you can opt for coconut oil or an extra virgin olive oil, that's going to be a much better option. You can cook with it, you can spread it on toast, and it's going to be way more healthy than margarine or other canola oils. The next food you definitely want to try and avoid is processed meats, and especially processed sandwich meats. They are loaded down with chemicals and meat glue and other reconstituted food particles that will hopefully make that food seem more like natural meat. You'll be much better off to go to the deli section and buy some actual meat, even though then there are some chemicals added. Your best bet by far is to purchase the meat and cook it yourself, and especially grass-fed meats are always going to be more nutritious than grain-fed or corn-fed meats. The sodium nitrites that are found in most of our processed meats are also banned in Europe, and the only way to avoid those is going to be opting for some natural, real, whole, came from an animal meat. Soda and coffee. Between the caffeine and the high fructose corn syrup, these are definitely things that you should eliminate from your diet. You should know that water is really the only liquid that our bodies need. And when you're drinking soda or sports drinks and even coffee, this is excess calories and excess sugar that you do not need and that do cause weight gain. So of course, water is the #1 recommendation. You can even get creative and squeeze lime or lemon into your water. Then it will have the added benefit of being alkalizing. You could even add a little fruit juice or something like that to your water. Now, when you're drinking fruit juice, of course that's going to be better than coffee or soda, but you want to make sure and look at the label and make sure it doesn't have added sugar, it doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it. Capri Sun and Sunny D and these different juice drinks actually contain a lot of added sugar, and if you're watching your waistline or even just your health, you want to try and avoid that as much as possible. Eating the whole fruit is going to be better than the fruit juice, but fruit juice is definitely going to be better than soda or coffee. The next foods is one of my favorite foods to rag on, and that is white bread and any kind of white flour. So that's your hamburger buns, your pasta, your tortillas. The thing to know is that these spike your blood sugar, they're empty carbs that are going to instantly turn into fat in your body, and they're going to make you even hungrier a little while after eating them. So great things to substitute would be anything that is a whole grain or even a sprouted grain bread or pasta. Quinoa is also another great grain that goes really well when you want a carb to put in with a meal. Brown rice is also really delicious. And if you go into a health food store, you'll find a whole section of different pasta and bread products that are gluten-free, that are based in rice, that are based in quinoa or buckwheat or other different things. So there are some foods you can purchase that will not contain refined, bleached, or unbleached white flour, because that is definitely something that you want to avoid. Now, along the same lines, cereal is also on this list. Cereal is also usually made from the same white refined flour, which is also banned in Europe, and it also contains a whole lot of added sugar and high fructose corn syrup. And when you are looking at alternatives to those processed cereals, again, brown rice, quinoa, granola, whole grain oats, any of these things are going to be a lot better, and you just want to watch for the added sugar content. When I want a little something sweet in the morning, I would like to sweeten with adding berries or adding a little bit of honey. And by avoiding these processed packaged cereals, that will be a great step towards a healthier and happier you. The next food to avoid is any pre-packaged or microwave meals. Now, of course, people eat these meals because they are oh so convenient, but you have to realize that when you are microwaving a meal or when you're eating something that is that processed or even that pre-cooked, you're losing most of the nutrient density. And as we remember, nutrients is why we eat in the first place. So if you're eating something without any nutrients, it's not going to fill you up. It's not going to make you feel good. So a great alternative would be to cook things in bulk. When you are cooking at home, go ahead and make a big batch of that food, and then you can create your own pre-packaged microwave meals. And that's going to be a lot more healthful than consuming all of the processed sugar and processed wheat that's in the food and all of the chemicals that are added to the food so that it will be preserved. The next foods to avoid are candy, chewing gum, and sweets in general. Now, you know that, of course, but what I want to point out here is that a lot of times we're eating things that are really sweet and that we should be considering desserts, but we're eating them like they're a snack, or we're just munching on them throughout the day. And it's important that if you're just snacking on something, that it's really just a snack and that it's not a dessert. Because if the foods you're snacking on contain so much sugar that they're a dessert, you need to recognize that, or else you're not giving yourself a true evaluation of how much sweets you're eating. The other thing is that most candies are actually fruit flavored. Skittles and things like this, they're actually flavored like fruit. And because they contain so much high fructose corn syrup and so many sweeteners, it can take a little bit of time for your body to enjoy fruits as much as you enjoy candy. But if you even go 3 days eliminating refined sugar from your diet, you can kind of reset your sweetness sensitivity so that you will find that sweetness in the fruit. And eating the fruit is going to be so much more healthful. It's got fiber, it's got vitamins, it's got minerals, and over time your body will grow to crave fruit instead of craving candy. The next food to eradicate from your diet is artificial sweeteners, and that is the little blue and pink packets that you find on the table when you order tea or coffee. And these chemicals, these are man-made chemicals, they have been found to be neurotoxic, and they have been found to have a whole myriad of other health effects that are very unfavorable. They also skew with your sweetness sensitivity, and they are loaded into lots of different diet, sugar-free foods. So you think you're not getting any sugar, but really and truly it's just an artificial sweetener, which is a lot worse. Now, granulated white refined sugar is not a whole lot better, but it is a little better than artificial sweeteners. Some good alternatives to white sugar and artificial sweeteners would be agave nectar or honey. Anything that is a more natural sweetener is always going to be better than something with a really long chemical name. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please share it with your friends on Facebook. And if you haven't given me a thumbs up already, I would really appreciate you doing so. Are they fattening us up? just the way they fatten up farm animals? Click right here. Have you ever wondered if they're purposefully adding chemicals to the food that make us addicted to foods and make us overeat? Click here. What are the top 10 superfoods that we actually should be eating more of? Click down here. What are the differences between whole and processed foods, and what does that mean for our health? You can click right here.